Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome back for another market update. I appreciate you guys watching every week so much, and I really hope that all of this is helpful to you if you're thinking about buying and selling real estate in Phoenix. That is my goal, to give some helpful information and help guide people and help them understand what's going on in the market. That being said, I hang out with all of you guys every Monday, but there are some new people that pop by and probably don't know where I get all of this information. And so I think it's important that I share my source of information as well. And I know I have in the past, but I don't do it every week. So I just want to highlight that all of this information comes from the Cromford Report. And the Cromford Report analyzes data in the Phoenix MLS system. And they've been doing that for 20 years. And they look at everything from number of sales to different trends to, home prices and all of those types of things. And they're able to create a lot of different charts and graphs and algorithms that help us understand what's going on in the market. So the Cromford Report is the source of all of my information, and it's not something that I just make up. I am addressing this because I've noticed there's been quite a few comments lately about people that think I'm either making things up or saying things just to try to, get business or whatever. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands that I don't have time to make all of this up, number one. And number two, I wouldn't do that. So I know all of you know where this information comes from, but if you're new, this is all from the Cromford Report, which is all from our data on home sales in Phoenix for the last 20 years from the MLS system. So, all right, got that out of the way. Let's jump in. Let's talk about what you guys are here for. First of all, I wanted to talk about a new record. And this is on a national scale, so maybe not quite so exciting if you're here to just hear about Phoenix, but we got to talk about the whole country. So the Case-Shiller Home Index report just came out, and on it, they measure a lot of different things, but they really look at annual appreciation. And so the national average annual appreciation hit a new record at 16.6%. And that's the highest appreciation rate that's ever been recorded for the entire country. I think Phoenix had a lot to do with that, and I'm sure some other areas have as well, but we are definitely one that's given this average an increase in the last year or so. And Phoenix's appreciation has been higher than that on an annual basis, so being above average is always a good thing, right? So yay if you're a homeowner here, lots of appreciation, and just in general on a national scale, we've seen a huge amount of appreciation across the country. So let's talk about the CMI. So again, if you're new here, this all comes from the Cromford Report. The CMI stands for the Cromford Market Index, and it's basically a mathematical equation that they have created that helps us understand the supply factors and demand factors in our market. So they measure all of this on seasonal trends, historical factors, and a whole bunch of other things that I don't know because I'm not a mathematician, but they have created an index that helps us understand where we're at. So their index is that anywhere between 90 to 110 is a balanced market. Anything above 110 is a seller's market, and anything below 90 is a buyer's market. And we've been way above 110 for a very long time. This week we're sitting at 363.6. But what's interesting about that is that we actually didn't come down that much from last week. Last week we were at 367. So we've been dropping a lot quicker than that. This was definitely a slower drop in between weeks. And what I found interesting is that our demand factor increased. So last week our demand was 105.2. This week the demand is 106.1. And I find it interesting because demand's just been kind of hanging out. It hasn't really been doing much, and if anything, it's gone down slightly. And now it went up. So I'm kind of curious if that's going to continue or the reasons why that happened. So we'll have to watch that and find out. 106.1 means that we're 6.1% above normal in terms of our demand. Now on the supply side, we're sitting at 29.2, which means that we are 70% below normal on our supply. And that went up from last week as well. Supply was 28.6 last week. But that's normal. Supply's been going up week over week, which has been a great thing for us because our buyers have more options to choose from, and it's not so crazy. Even though it's still crazy, it's at least heading in the right direction. So 29.2 is definitely well below a normal range of supply. So that's where we are with the CMI, and all of this is interesting because it helps us understand what's going on in the market. Months ago, we were sitting at 514, and now we're sitting at 363. So there's definitely been a cooling off, but here's what I'll tell you. 2 weeks ago, I had a client making an offer on a house that had 65 offers. This weekend, I had a client making an offer on a house that had 50 offers. So when I say things are cooling off, please understand that doesn't mean that we're in a buyer's market. It doesn't mean that things have changed that much. It's just that we were so far in one direction that now that we've cooled off, we're still hot as heck here. So that's where we stand in terms of the market index. I know I talk about supply a lot, and I just wanted to share a different way of looking at supply. So I always say supply is so low, but what does that really mean? Well, when we measure supply in terms of our months of supply or months of inventory, that basically means that if no new homes were to come on the market for sale, we would run out of available homes for sale in X number of months. And when you have 6 months of supply, that's a balanced market. So lately, and right now, we're sitting at 0.6 months of supply, so less than 1 month of supply. So if no one else listed their home for sale today, we would run out of available listings in 0.6 months, in less than 1 month. Now, mind you, that number used to be 0.4. So yay for 0.6, that's a lot better, but it still goes to show how low we are and how low we were in terms of supply. So 0.6 is a good thing. We'll see if this continues to increase to 1 month of supply. That would be a big thing for us to keep an eye on, but we're seeing that in the CMI supply side as well, sitting at 29.2. Like I said, that's 70% below normal supply of where we should normally be. So 0.6, two different ways to think about it. So I just wanted to share that. And a couple other things. Cave Creek has the highest CMI of all of the cities right now, which is a first for Cave Creek. And Scottsdale actually had their CMI rise last week from 390 to 394. So that's interesting because no cities are increasing in their CMI, but Scottsdale did. So they improved in their demand and they lost some supply. So that overall increased the CMI. We'll see if that's a new trend. That'll be interesting. And we'll see if it's a new trend for the demand to continue to go up, because 106.1, it's kind of interesting. We'll see if we go up even further next week. And what I think could be happening, although I'm not sure, this is just my own assumption, is summer's kind of coming to a close. Everyone's coming back from their vacations and all of the things that people have been doing this summer, and maybe there is becoming more of a focus on the housing market again. I don't know. We'll see if that plays out to be true. So that's all I've got for you guys. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. You can look in the description below and just schedule some time with me if you want to talk about your buying or selling plans. I'd love to talk with you. And if you want clarification or more information on all of this, you can always reach out to me. And make sure to remember, I'm not making this up. I have sources of information that are valid. But thank you to all of you who support me. I really appreciate it. And I am here if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your week, guys.